As the sun fell below the horizon, throwing a golden hue over Yaba Basura, the wonderful aroma of spices and simmering sauces began to emanate from Miss Mill's restaurant's kitchen. The tempting smell would waft through the twisting alleyways, beckoning hungry villagers and visitors from far and wide to partake in the culinary delights that awaited them inside. Miss Mills, the village's culinary icon, presided over her bustling kitchen with grace and talent that seemed almost magical. With a flick of her wrist and a sprinkle of her secret spices, she could convert ordinary ingredients into gourmet masterpieces that left customers speechless with ecstasy. But it was the famed Yaba Basura special that truly distinguished Miss Mill's restaurant from all others. Whispers of its incomparable flavor spread far and wide, enticing foodies and curious travelers from far away to sample its delights. Each bite of the dish was a revelation, a beautiful balance of flavors that transported guests to a state of pure gourmet bliss. Miss Mills kept the secret to the dish's unparalleled flavor close to her chest, creating a sense of mystery and excitement to each serving. Some claimed it was a blend of exotic spices imported from faraway regions, while others speculated of a secret ingredient known only to Miss Mills and passed down through generations. Whatever the truth was, one thing was certain: the Yaba Basura special was a culinary miracle unlike any other, a monument to the master chef's ability and innovation. As word spread about the dish, Miss Mill's restaurant became a destination for culinary pilgrims looking to experience the wonder of the famed Yaba Basura special. And in the middle of the village's hustle and bustle, the restaurant stood out as a dazzling beacon of gastronomic excellence, its doors always open to welcome hungry visitors and locals alike to enjoy the exquisite flavors that only Miss Mills could create. The Yaba Basura special drew so much attention that it became the talk of the town, sparking heated disagreements. Men would extol its exceptional flavor, while ladies would exchange knowing glances, piqued by its enigmatic recipe. Despite their best attempts, the Yaba Basura special remained a well-kept secret, known only to Miss Mills. But, as the phrase goes, curiosity knows no bounds, and whispers of espionage quickly spread across the village. Rumors circulated of clandestine meetings and covert actions aimed at obtaining the coveted formula that was at the heart of Miss Mill's culinary empire. Our story unfolds in this atmosphere of curiosity and suspicion, a tale of betrayal, redemption, and the unwavering strength of the human spirit. A terrible scheme was building in the heart of Yaba Basura, beneath the pleasant village veneer. Behind closed doors and hushed whispers, a group of ambitious people plotted to discover the secret of the famed meal. Their motivations varied: some coveted fame and wealth, while others simply wanted to discover the secrets of Miss Mill's culinary talent. Among these would-be spies was Ethan, a young man who was obsessed with the Yaba Basura special to the point of mania. Day and night, he would study over recipes and search the internet for hints, trying to solve the mystery that had fascinated the entire hamlet. His efforts were unrelenting, and his desire unyielding. However, Ethan was not alone in his mission. As rumors grew and emotions rose, more people were drawn into the conflict, each with their own motive and secrets to preserve. Friendships were challenged, loyalties were questioned, and alliances were formed and shattered in the struggle for culinary supremacy. As the story deepened and the stakes rose, Ethan found himself entangled in a web of deception and betrayal. The line between friend and adversary became blurred, and he quickly knew that learning the truth would be laden with danger and disaster. But, driven by his insatiable curiosity and a burning desire for the truth, Ethan persisted, eager to discover the Yaba Basura special's secret at any cost. He had no idea, however, that the ultimate secret was not in the recipe itself, but in the voyage of discovery and self-discovery that lay ahead of him. For, in the end, it was Miss Mill's passion, ingenuity, and love that actually distinguished the Yaba Basura special, not the ingredients or techniques she used. And, as Ethan would soon learn, certain secrets are supposed to be kept concealed, while others are made to be shared with the world. At the center of it all was Amina, a young woman whose presence in Yaba Basura would set off a series of events that would permanently change the path of history. Fresh-faced and full of youthful excitement, Amina had come to the town in quest of a new beginning, eager to carve out a place for herself in its close-knit society. Little did she know that fate had other plans for her, intentions that would plunge her into the center of an age-old mystery. Amina began her career as a dishwasher at Miss Mill's restaurant, which seemed innocent enough at first. Day after day, she would toil in the sweltering confines of the kitchen, washing pots and pans with a zeal born of necessity. Despite the clatter and clangor of the bustling kitchen, Amina's keen eyes would frequently wander to the figure of Miss Mills herself, a silent watcher amidst the commotion. Something about Miss Mills piqued Amina's interest, something strange and elusive that seemed to draw her in. Perhaps it was the way Miss Mills moved with grace and purpose, each action intentional and perfect. Perhaps it was the glint in her eye, a gleam of concealed knowledge indicating secrets still to be divulged. Whatever the cause, Amina was drawn to Miss Mills like a moth to a flame. She wished to unravel the enigma that surrounding the famed chef, to discover the secrets of her culinary prowess, and to solve the mysteries of the Yaba Basura special. And so, with a mix of curiosity and determination, Amina set off on her own quest for answers, ignorant of the dangers that lay ahead. As Amina explored more into the world of Miss Mill's restaurant, she realized there was more to the establishment than meets the eye. Behind the scenes, a power battle raged, with competing factions battling for control of the restaurant and its prized recipe. Loyalties were challenged, alliances were formed, and betrayal awaited around every corner. Caught in the crossfire, Amina was caught between her allegiance to her employer and her desire to know the truth. With each passing day, the Yaba Basura special's mystery grew more alluring, its secrets just out of reach. And as tensions rose, Amina recognized that the key to uncovering the truth might be closer to home than she had expected. In a town where secrets were whispered on the breeze and relationships shifted like sand, Amina quickly realized that the path to enlightenment was loaded with danger. But with courage in her heart and determination in her soul, she vowed to keep going, for she knew the answers she sought were worth any cost. So, with Yaba Basura's life hanging in the balance, Amina embarked on a journey that would test her strength, strain her resolve, and eventually take her to the truth she so badly needed. Miss Mills exuded mystery, like a cloak. Her motions were smooth, her manner poised, but there was a spark of grief in her eyes, belying the calmness of her outer demeanor. And it was this enigmatic presence that drew Amina in, igniting a curiosity she couldn't suppress. Amina's infatuation with Miss Mills grew as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, fueled by a desire to discover the truths concealed beneath her tranquil exterior. She began to pay special attention to her movements, almost obsessively so. And it was during one of these moments of observation that Amina came across a revelation that changed everything. It happened late one evening, when Amina was about to leave the restaurant after a long day of work. Miss Mills had retreated to her own rooms, leaving Amina alone in the kitchen to complete the day's tasks. As she worked, she saw a small, leather-bound diary sitting on the countertop, its pages filled with strange scribblings and hurriedly drawn designs. Intrigued, Amina reached out and opened the journal, her heart racing with excitement. As she glanced over the pages, she was drawn deeper into the mysteries they contained. There were recipes she'd never seen before, and the components were listed in bizarre combinations that appeared to defy logic. Interspersed throughout the recipes were notes written in Miss Mill's exquisite writing, outlining trials and observations that suggested a more in-depth mastery of the culinary arts. Amina grasped the truth. Miss Mills was more than simply a cook. She was a culinary alchemist, a master of her profession who had spent her whole life honing her skills. And the Yaba Basura special, far from being a simple dish, was a monument to her creativity, a work of passion and dedication that had grabbed the hearts and taste senses of an entire town. Amina closed the journal and placed it back where it belonged, filled with adoration and respect. She realized that the Yaba Basura special's secret should not be taken or abused, but rather cherished and revered. And when she walked out into the crisp night air, she felt a sensation of astonishment and thankfulness sweep over her, knowing she had witnessed something genuinely beautiful, Miss Mill's artistry, the culinary master of Yaba Basura. Amina leaned out and picked up the journal, flicking through the old pages with shaky fingers. What she discovered inside stole her breath away: comprehensive recipes, carefully catalogued items, and thorough directions written in Miss Mill's own handwriting. The final entry, penned in rushed handwriting at the end of the journal, sent shivers down Amina's spine. This was the recipe for the Yaba Basura special. As Amina read the recipe, her mind raced with ideas. Here, in front of her, was the secret that had escaped the villagers for so long, the key to unlocking Miss Mill's culinary talent. Even though excitement coursed through her veins, Amina couldn't ignore the uneasy feeling that gnawed at her insides. The notebook had a dark and gloomy quality to it, as if there was danger lurking just beyond the surface. So, with a heavy heart and trepidation, Amina made a critical decision. She would confront Miss Mills and tell her the truth about what she had discovered, and demand answers to the concerns that had been bothering her since she first arrived in Yaba Basura. Little did she know that her actions would set off a chain of events that would undermine the village's fundamental foundations, revealing long-buried truths and exposing the true nature of Miss Mill's culinary empire. Amina's heart raced as she reached Miss Mill's private quarters, each step echoing in the night's solitude. She hesitated outside the door to gather her confidence before lightly knocking. Moments later, the door cracked open, showing Miss Mills standing before her, her expression unreadable. Without preface, Amina pushed the journal into Miss Mill's hands, her voice shaking. "I found this in the kitchen," she explained, barely above a whisper. "I understand what it is, Miss Mills. I know about the Yaba Basura special." Miss Mill's eyes widened in surprise, and her attention shifted to the journal she held in her hands. For a minute, they were silent, interrupted only by the faint sounds of the hamlet outside. To Amina's surprise, Miss Mills smiled, a sorrowful, yearning smile that seemed to contain a lifetime of regrets. "You have uncovered my greatest secret, child," she whispered softly, her voice tinged with sadness. "But there is more to this story than you could possibly imagine." Miss Mills welcomed Amina inside her chambers, locking the door behind them and cementing their futures in a link formed by destiny and the compelling draw of the unknown. As the lethal disease crept over the countryside, panic gripped the villages, and terror spread like fire. The once vibrant streets were now deserted, with the sounds of laughter replaced by the melancholy cries of individuals affected by the sickness. In the midst of the chaos, Princess Adan and Aaron Z were presented with a tough task. With the virus threatening to tear their world apart, they understood that their plans for marriage and a life together were jeopardized. However, in the midst of suffering, their love grew stronger. They resolved to stand together against the flow of despair, hanging on to optimism even in the darkest of times. With unrelenting commitment, they worked diligently to support their community, assisting those in need and spreading love everywhere they went. Despite the uncertainties surrounding them, Princess Adan and Aaron Z unwilling to relinquish their aspirations. And as they stood side by side, confronting the challenges that were ahead, they knew that they could overcome any hurdle that awaited them. And so, as the world around them trembled with fear and uncertainty, Princess Adan and Aaron Z stood firm in their love, a beacon of hope in the midst of catastrophe. For, deep down, they knew that no matter what difficulties came their way, as long as they had each other, they would emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. As the days turned into months, Adan and Aaron's friendship became stronger, forged in the crucible of struggle. They became shining examples of perseverance and kindness in their community, inspiring others to join their cause and rebuild what had been lost. They organized food drives, set up makeshift clinics, and rallied the residents behind a shared goal, to restore their beloved home. Despite the physical and mental strain of their efforts, Adon and Aaron found comfort in each other's arms, gaining strength from their love and shared mission. In the quiet moments between their exhausting work, they would sneak away to the banks of the local river and sit in companionable silence, watching the sun set over the horizon, coloring the sky in gold and scarlet. During these brief moments of peace, Adon and Aaron would fantasize about their future together, picturing a life full with love, laughter, and limitless opportunities. They talked about establishing their own home, surrounded by rich vegetation and gentle melodies of nature. They wanted to start a family and raise children in a world free of fear and uncertainty. Even as they allowed themselves to dream, Adon and Aaron stayed grounded in reality. They were aware that the path ahead would be difficult, with numerous hurdles and barriers to conquer. Nonetheless, they approached the future with unyielding determination and a firm trust in the power of love to overcome even the darkest of times. As the sun fell below the horizon, sending long shadows across the landscape, Adon and Aaron would rise to their feet, hands linked together in a solemn vow to never give up, to fight for a brighter tomorrow. Because of their love for one another, they had found the fortitude to weather any storm, endure any adversity, and emerge stronger, more resilient, and more passionately in love than ever before. And as they stood side by side, gazing out at the broad expanse of their hamlet, they realized that whatever the future held, as long as they had one another, they could face it together, hand in hand, heart to heart, eternally joined by the unbreakable connection of their love. The arena grew silent as the last match began, despite the strong competition and scream of the spectators. Two opponents, equally matched in strength and skill, squared off in a duel to decide the fate of the princess hand. The tension was evident as they circled one another, eyes fixed in a steely stare, muscles tense and ready for action. With a sudden burst of energy, the athletes pushed forward, clashing in a frenzy of movement and exertion. The audience screamed as they fought and strained against one another, each refusing to give an inch in their pursuit of triumph. Minutes turned into hours as the struggle dragged on, with neither side wanting to admit defeat. Sweat poured from their brows, muscles screamed in anguish, but they fought on, motivated by the prospect of winning the grand prize, and then, in one pivotal moment, victory was announced. One of the combatants emerged victorious, leaving his opponent defeated at his feet. The crowd exploded in screams and acclaim as he was declared tournament victor and Princess Aiden's chosen suitor. Even as he basked in the crowd's adoration, he felt an emptiness in his heart. For deep down, he realized that his victory had a cost, the cost of a love that could never be purchased or won in war. And as he stood before the princess, ready to accept his prize, he couldn't meet her sight. For at that moment, he recognized that true love could only be achieved through the purity of the heart, not through strength or talent. So, with a heavy heart and a sense of remorse, the champion bowed to the princess and offered her his hand in marriage. But as he did, he realized that he was not the one she actually desired. Her heart belonged to another, a simple drummer lad named Aaron Z, who had won her heart with his generosity, courage, and unshakable devotion. As the princess glanced out over the cheering audience, her gaze was drawn to the one who held her heart and had been by her side through the darkest of times. And there, in the mass of people, she saw him, Aaron Z, her real love, soulmate, and everything. Princess Adon raced into Aaron's arms, tears running down her cheeks, relieved that she had finally found her happily ever after. As they embraced, the crowd's cheers faded into the background, replaced by the exquisite music of their love, a symphony that would reverberate through the centuries, forever and ever. But Aaron Z ignored the concerns and murmurs that surrounding him. With calm determination, he faced his opponent, a big warrior famed for his physical power and ferocity in combat. The contrast between them was stark. One was a plain drummer boy with no official combat training, while the other was a seasoned warrior with years of warfare experience. Aaron moved with grace and agility from the start of the contest, belying his lowly appearance. He dodged and weaved, reading his opponent's every move with remarkable accuracy. With each step, he moved closer to his opponent, his motions flowing and deliberate. The audience was in wonder as Aaron held his own against the ferocious fighter, matching him blow for blow with talent that beyond description. His drumming hands, which had previously been used to create music, had now become weapons of war, striking with such speed and accuracy that his opponent was stunned. Despite the odds stacked against him, Aaron refused to give up. With a furious passion burning in his eyes, he plowed on, his resolution unwavering. And then, in a flash of brilliance, he delivered the final strike, knocking his opponent to the ground in defeat. Aaron's victory elicited cheers and plaudits from the crowd, demonstrating the force of courage, determination, and the indomitable human spirit. And as he stood before Princess Adon, his chest heaving with exertion, he knew he had proven himself worthy of her love, not by physical power, but with emotional strength. Princess Adon ran into Aaron's arms, her eyes welling up with excitement and thanks. Because she realized in that instant that she had discovered her genuine champion, soulmate, and eternal love. And as they embraced amid the crowd's cheers, they knew their love would last forever, serving as a light of hope and inspiration to all who watched it. The embrace between Princess Adon and Aaron Z was a timeless moment that demonstrated the power of love and the triumph of the human spirit. As they hugged one another closely, the world around them appeared to slip away, leaving only the two of them standing amidst the crowd's cheers and acclaim. For Princess Adon, this moment was the fulfillment of all her hopes and dreams, the knowledge that pure love could overcome even the most formidable obstacles. She found comfort and strength in Aaron Z's arms, knowing that together they could overcome any hurdle in their path. As they eventually parted ways, their eyes connected with a shared understanding and a quiet promise of a future full of love and happiness. With the help of their friends and a firm conviction in each other, they knew that nothing could stop their love. So, hand in hand, they walked out of the stadium into the sunset, ready to begin a new chapter in their lives together. With the memory of their victory and the warmth of their love driving them ahead, they approached the future with confidence and resolve, knowing that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any obstacle. As Princess Adon and Aaron Z basked in the glory of their love and the crowd's admiration, they realized that their journey was far from ended. With newfound determination, they set out to restore their community, not as tyrants, but as compassionate leaders concerned about their people's well-being. They worked diligently together to mend the wounds left by the plague, providing support and help to those who were most impacted. They coordinated relief activities, offering food, shelter, and medical attention to the sick and disadvantaged. Their compassion and generosity motivated others to join their cause, and the hamlet quickly became a hub of activity as people worked together to rebuild their town from the ground up. As the days progressed into weeks, and the weeks into months, traces of development appeared. The streets came alive again, with children's laughter filling the air. Crops blossomed in the fields, transforming the once arid environment into a colorful tapestry of colors. It was a monument to the human spirit's resilience, as well as the power of love to overcome even the most difficult circumstances. Despite the pleasure and celebration, Princess Adon and Aaron Z never forgot the lessons they had learnt on their voyage. They understood that true happiness could not be found in wealth or power, but rather in small moments of connection and generosity that brought people together. As they looked out over the community they had helped reconstruct, Princess Adon and Aaron Z realized their love story was just getting started. They would confront whatever problems lay ahead of them, confident that as long as they had each other, they could overcome anything. And as they walked hand in hand into the sunset, they knew that their love would illuminate the path, guiding them through whatever hardships lie ahead. As they repaired their romance, Princess Adon and Aaron Z focused on restoring the hamlet, ensuring that it thrived once more. They worked with the residents, growing crops, fixing homes, and restoring hope in the community. Their efforts were not unappreciated, and the hamlet quickly began to thrive again. The fields were overflowing with crops, the homes were repaired and full of laughter, and the streets were alive with the sounds of people going about their everyday lives. Despite the demands of their new responsibilities as leaders and builders, Princess Adon and Aaron Z always found time for one another. They would sneak private moments together, enjoying whispered discussions and stolen kisses under the shadow of a tree or the light of the moon. And as they stood together, staring out at the village they had helped to reconstruct, they realized their love was stronger than ever. In the face of adversity, they had found not just a companion, but a soulmate, someone with whom they could share their goals and dreams, joys and sufferings, for the rest of their lives. As they looked to the future with hope and optimism, Princess Adon and Aaron Z knew that whatever problems lie ahead, they would face them together, hand in hand, their love guiding them through the darkest of times and the brightest of days. As Princess Adon and Aaron Z progressed through life together, their love grew deeper and evolved, transcending time and space. They found satisfaction in the most simple things, such as a shared laugh, a loving embrace, or a quiet evening spent gazing at stars. Every day offered new adventures and challenges, but they tackled them together, gaining strength from their unbreakable friendship. In the years that followed, they had children and raised them with the same love, compassion, and knowledge that had guided their own path. They instilled in their children the qualities of kindness, resilience, and empathy, encouraging them to always follow their hearts and speak up for what they believe in. As their family expanded, Princess Adon and Aaron Z remained pillars of strength and support for one another, facing life's storms with grace and dignity. They celebrated wins and milestones together, treating each moment as a treasured gift provided by fate. Throughout it all, they never lost sight of the fundamental connection that had brought them together, a bond forged in the fires of struggle and tempered by time. Their love was a beacon of light in a dark world, illuminating the route ahead and guiding them through the darkest of nights. And as they grew older together, their love became stronger, overcoming the limitations of time and mortality. For theirs was an unbounded love, one that had weathered the test of time and emerged victorious, shining brightly for all eternity. And while their physical bodies would fade, their love would endure forever, an eternal flame that could never be extinguished.